from the Timber TV studios, this is Timber Talk. Here is Brady Goldman and Sawyer Regan.
Hello and welcome back to Timber Talk, Walpole High's now award-winning show for all the latest on Walpole High sports news. As always, I'm Sawyer Regan.
And I'm Brady Goldman.
The final week of April saw our spring teams continue to dominate, so we're going to start with Lax. The boys lacrosse team on Tuesday was set to take on a rather mediocre Brookline team. Fortunately, the team capitalized on their strength and dominated each quarter. Brookline was only down 2-1 at the end of one, but Walpole exploded, highlighted by a staggering 7 goals from Michael Connors to down the Warriors by a 14-2 final. Walpole would prove their dominance even further with an extremely convincing 15-6 win over Newton North, who is the number 9 team currently ranked in Division 1. Speaking of rankings, the first batch of MIAA power rankings came out last week. The boys lacrosse team is surprisingly only 7th, despite a 10-2 record and good wins against strong opponents. Looking ahead, the team has 2 games this week against Weymouth on Tuesday and Braintree on Thursday.
Girls Lax had also the same opponents as the boys this week. They took down Brookline by a final of 18-6 and had a bit of a tighter contest against Newton North, but still won 15-11. Now having won 24 straight dating back to last year, Walpole currently sits at number 2 in the latest power rankings, just behind Reading, who they beat in the state championship last year. The Timberwolves have their historic winning streak on the line when they travel to easy opponents such as Weymouth and Braintree, but then have to take on Notre Dame Hingham on Friday, who is the number 1 overall seed in Division 1. That will certainly be a fun game to watch.
Switching to the softball team, they put up a historic performance offensively against Brookline. After having to produce offense through the first stretch of the season, the team put out all their anger on the poor Warriors. The stat line is as follows. Walpole wins 22-0, with Caitlin Baker pitching a complete game shutout with 2 hits on 9 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Outfielder Ava Karakalitis went 3 for 6 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs. Catcher Abby Riley went 4 for 5 with a home run, double, and 3 RBIs. And captain Sienna Cruiser and Grace Todd both belted a home run. This is exactly the performance for a team who is mightily struggling to produce runs in the early goings of the season. Walpole also beat Oliver Ames 14-4 and was once again another hitting party. Offensively, the team carried over their dominance from the Brookline game, with Grace Todd going 5 for 5 with a home run, 2 doubles, and 3 RBIs. Ellie Boland going 2 for 2 with a home run as well as 3 RBIs. Kayla Benner going 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. Ava Karakalitis mashing in 2 more doubles with an RBI. Charlotte Barnett going 3 for 4 with a run batted in. And finally, Abby Riley going 3 for 5 with 2 runs scored. Combined in these 2 games, Walpole won 36-4 and were 2 runs short of amassing their run total from the previous 7 games combined. Walpole's great play as of late has earned them the 6th spot in the latest Division II power rankings. Walpole will try to continue their dominance when they play Newton North, Weymouth, and Lincoln Sudbury this week.
Those are quite impressive scores from our softball team, and another team that hasn't skipped a beat is our baseball team. Walpole down Wellesley by a 6-3 final with Luca DiGiulio pitching another complete game with 7 strikeouts. That then brought them into a game against Brookline where they continued to rake. We're going to start in the bottom of the second where it's tied 1-1, and this is where Walpole starts to break the game open as a missile to left field by Shane Harrington brings home Benner from first and makes it 2-1. Then in the bottom of the third, after a balk in the second gave Walpole their 3rd run, Cole Blakely contributed to their 4th with a base hit into shallow right field to make it 4-1 Walpole. Then in the bottom of the 5th, Walpole puts the Warriors to bed with an absolute tank off the bat of Shane Harrington, who drives in his 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th runs of the day when he makes it to home safely, resulting in a 3-run home run to make it 7-2 Walpole. Another run in the 6th by Walpole would make it an 8-2 final. Landon Lipset went 6 innings with 9 strikeouts while Shane Harrington racked up 4 RBIs. It's also important to know that Timber Talk's own Asher Kingman had an outstanding sacrifice bunt in this game. He is a great piece to an absolutely loaded team. Unfortunately, Walpole lost to powerhouse St. John's Prep 7-3 on Friday, but still had a very stellar week. To nobody's surprise, the defending Division II state champions currently sit on top of everyone else at number 1 in the first edition of the Power Rankings. Walpole will play Newton North and Weymouth this week, and perhaps Asher will make another contribution to the team. Girls tennis had 3 games last week. They first hosted Wellesley, and despite having a match go for more than 2 hours, they still lost 0-5 to one of the better teams in the state. However, Walpole rebounded nicely against a miserable Brookline team, having all 3 singles matches won and beating them 3-2. Then on Friday, they played a tough match against KP, and despite Eleni Margenis continuing to dominate at singles, the team still lost 1-4 to the Warriors. Walpole is currently number 27 in D2 and have already matched their win total from last year under first-year head coach Leo Ringler. Walpole will play Newton North, Weymouth, and Framingham this week.
Boys tennis had 4 matches last week. They first lost to Wellesley 0-5, but then had a nice bounce-back win the next day against CM 5-0. Then on Wednesday, history was made on the hard court. For the first time in program history, Walpole beat Brookline, who has had their number the past 35 years. Stephen Jung and the doubles tandem of Matt Anastasi and Luke Moses won their matches, and it all came down to Dylan Blackiere, who clinched the match for Walpole, stunning the once-to-be-thought unbeatable Warriors. Walpole then followed that with a solid 4-1 win over KP to bring the record to 8-2. Because of the historic win against Brookline, Walpole shot up to number 4 in Division II, which is the highest the boys tennis team has ever been ranked. It was truly an amazing week for a gritty program. Walpole will play Newton North on Monday, Framingham on Tuesday, and Weymouth on Wednesday. The boys track team, for the second time in 3 years, has won the Division III outdoor relay meet with a score of 83 points. Every event group delivered yesterday, scoring in all but one event, which allowed the team to beat Reading and Greater Lowell Tech for the win in a meet that came down to the 4x400. Great performances came from Jake Stenstrom, Luke Zahurik, Brady Thomas, and everyone else on the team.
Before we sign off, it's time to address the elephant in the room that Timber Talk took home first place in the New England Scholastic Press Association for sports highlights. This is a tremendous accomplishment that back in September, Sawyer and I could not even think of something like this.
Well, probably because I didn't really know it existed.
Yeah, that too. So we would love to send our thanks to whoever saw our show and deemed it award-winning. So with that, we will sign off as always. I'm Brady Goldman.
And I'm Sawyer Regan.
We'll be back next week with recaps from the beginning of May.